If you haven't heard, myself and the crew over at my podcast, The Pro Audio Suite, have collaborated with Centrance to create our very own audio interface that's specifically designed for voiceover actors. It's called the Passport VO, and it is an amazing product that we want to bring to the world, but we cannot do it without reaching a special goal. We have to have pre-sold 100 units in order for Centrance to put this product into production. I'll tell you, there are just no audio interfaces that check every single box that's really important to a voiceover actor. And this thing also replaces multiple pieces of gear in a studio, like a mic mute switch, a mic switcher. So you have the ability to switch between two microphones at any time with the press of a button, each one of them at the right gain. It has two audio interfaces inside the box. So one is dedicated to recording, and the other one dedicated to communications like Zoom and Source Connect. You can do playbacks, it's all built in. Head over to centrance.com/passportvo if you're interested in picking up one. Thanks for listening, everybody. This is George the Tech. I hope you have a great one.
George the Tech.
Everybody, I'm here at Austrian Audio, and Kurt is here to tell us what's happening with Austrian Audio mics and headphones. How are you doing, Kurt?
Hi, George. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you in person. So tell us about the lineup, starting with the handheld microphones.
Well, yeah, we have the handheld microphones here on this counter. We can start here with the OD303, which is our classic dynamic mic for quite a nice price, I'd say. It has all the important features one main feature of Austrian Audio, which is the open acoustic design. You can see it. We have those holes here in the back. Don't be afraid. This is not going to cause feedback. It's the other way around. You need to have this to establish a stable polar pattern over a wide frequency range, so you don't get feedback.
That makes sense. People always think the closed back is directional. No, it's how the back is allowed to vent.
Yeah, you need the sonic from the backside to get it acoustically delayed, and like that you get rid of it.
Right.
So the OD505 is kind of an active version of the OD303. So you need phantom power on that. But what you have an amplifier built into the mic that fits perfectly to the capsule, and it gives you some great advantage, like you get 6 to 8 dB more output. That helps with not so high class preamps to stay in a lower range of the gain, where the stuff doesn't become noisy and stuff like that. It helps with very long analog cable runs. Okay, because you don't have any kind of high frequency roll off. We can establish a low cut switch on the mic. That's all because of the active design.
And then you have a condenser.
We have a condenser as well. So again, same open acoustic. It's a condenser with quite a low self-noise level, like we just talked about, and extremely high sound pressure level. So very clean, very crisp sound, very natural sound, I would say. Like pretty much that's something you could maybe say about all our microphones. They don't add a lot of color to the signal. They stay very natural. That's, by the way, one reason why they are highly appreciated by voiceover artists, because I got one feedback one time which was really cool by a voiceover artist, and he told me it's the first time I hear my voice and not the microphone. And that is cool. That's really.
I agree. That's important. That's a high priority for the voice actor. Yeah. This is a mic. This is a mic here that I'm considering trying out and doing some testing for voiceover, primarily focused on the traveling voice actors. So many people travel, they have to record. Their clients always want audio from them, no matter where. I think this could be a nice alternative to what they've been used to traveling with.
Absolutely. You will get the pristine and detailed sound from the condenser on the road. It's a really, really good idea.
It's got a pop screen internal and a shock mount. Is that kind of thing is inside the unit?
I mean, yeah, that's just how it. The pop screen is part of the grill. It's just a foam here, and it's not very sensitive to pops. And of course, it's elastically mounted, and also the sonic can comes back from the back, comes to the capsule from the backside. That's the way to say it. And there is another feature on the OD505, which has an extra pop filter, and maybe that's what you had in mind. Because here we have this pop noise diffuser. So here we have the dynamic capsule. It's larger, so it's more sensitive to pop noise. And here we have, next to the foam inside the basket, we have another element that destroys explosion sounds like TP. You know it.
Absolutely.
Let's maybe start with our flagship, the OC818. It's a large condenser microphone with a dual capsule, so that means it's switchable. That's what every switchable large condenser microphone has, but we go a step further. If you put the polar setting in the middle, it shows you two cardioids. That's why one cardioid going into this direction and the other cardioid going into this direction. And here you see there's a device plug to the phone. That's something we talk about in a few seconds. But you can also plug in an extra cable here, and then the microphone has two outputs. And you record two channels in your DAW, and you are able to create the polar pattern in the post-production, in the mix. And not only in general, you can even do it frequency depending. That means you can do a different polar pattern in the low end, in the mid-range, in the treble, and you can find the perfect setting for your voice, especially in terms of proximity effect and stuff like that. Okay, so that is really something new. If you have two of them, maybe for field recording and stuff like that, you can create, and you record 4 tracks. You use front and back side of both mics. You can decide which stereo technique you want to use in post-production. You can switch between MS, mid-side, XY, and Bloomline. Really amazing. And also an alternative to the second output, you can also add the OCR8, which is a Bluetooth device, and then you connect with your iPhone or mobile phone or iPad or iPhone or Android or whatever you have. You connect via Bluetooth to the microphone, and now you can remote control the microphone. Wait, it's
been resting for a while.
No, I have to put it's a smart device.
Yeah.
It doesn't let me do anything because it's in the wrong mode.
Oh, sure.
I have to set it to this mode.
Set it to that
which
mode.
is the preset mode. So now I can adjust the polar pattern flawless.
Wow.
And that's also really cool because I can find just a sweet spot for my proximity effect. The more I focus, the more proximity effect I will get. Okay?
For us in a studio, or actually for us in a tiny voiceover booth, low ceilings, this is critical because now I can steer the pickup pattern off the ceiling. The figure 8 is our friend.
Yeah.
We use it a lot. It just gets rid of the bass. You get a bass resonance.
And it also has kind of a nice proximity effect. Figure 8 has the strongest one.
Yeah.
So then we'll be here. And if maybe maybe the proximity effect of the full figure 8 is a little bit too much, no problem. You go back and do it like this, and there you go. And that's the sweet spot for your vocal recording. You can also
and that's programmed into the mic. You don't have to keep this app running. You can just do this once.
It is programmed. So if you disconnect the Bluetooth dongle, you use the microphone in any other method on another polar pattern, no problem. The last setting you made will be stored in the microphone.
So you set it and forget it. You don't have to keep messing with it. You just get it right.
You find the best setting, and you're good to go. You can also switch low cut and pad switch it. And of course you can save many presets in the app itself, and then play it to the microphone whenever you need it for
If you have
another
a commercial
purpose.
studio, that would be fantastic. Yeah.
So
And then going down the lineup, going to the single capsule.
Yeah, exactly. It's acoustically and sound-wise, it's the same like the OC818, but it's a fixed cardioid. You can't switch it. Okay. So
More budget friendly, obviously.
sorry.
More budget friendly.
Yeah, more budget friendly, and I think 95% of all recordings are done with a cardioid. Even if this is it's playing around with the polar pattern, it's really worth it. But many people are just don't want to deal with it, and they just want a good sounding microphone. Simpler, save a little bit on the budget. OC18 is really big friend. And even more budget friendly now is the OC16. Which is a great sounding microphone for its price. It's really close by the sound to the OC18. There's no big difference, but there are tiny compromises in the build of the grill and all that stuff. So this open acoustic thing that we already talked about, that is also on the large condensers. It's the idea to get rid of every possible reflection in the microphone basket itself, and that's why they sound so natural, because we don't have any resonances happening in the microphone.
And an off-axis response is really smooth, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so the frame here is a little compromised to this design, but for that reason we can build the grill much cheaper, so we can go down a little bit in price. But
it still has the variable high-pass filter?
It has a high-pass filter, but not the pad switch.
But that's, I think, in a voiceover context, that's mostly what voice actors need, is a good high-pass filter. Everybody has rumble in their home a lot of people have rumble in the home studio. That's the most useful switch on any mic, really, for us.
Yeah. And the switch is also kind of smart, because it's a second order on 40. No, I'm sorry. It is a second order on 40, and it's a first order on 160.
Explain what that means in a nutshell to the non-technical people.
That's how strong the filter cuts in. Okay, so on 40 hertz, it's really like really going down. Okay, it's steep, and it really cuts off all the rumble down there. But you would not like to cut like that on 160 hertz, because then it would sound tinny. So the 160 hertz is first order. It stays a little bit flatter, and it becomes steep at 40 again.
Oh, it's a 2-for-1. Lovely. Well, let's take a second, and then we'll go over and check out the headphone lineup.
Sure, let's do that. Okay, we made it to the headphone wall. So here you see all our headphone products, starting from really the kind of high-end section to a more budget-friendly. So maybe we have a closer look. So this is that's an open back headphone. You see it has holes all over here. So that's really a great recommendation to all people who are more into mixing. Tracking maybe not such a good idea, because you might record bleed that comes out of the headphone, but it's a really good reference headphone. It's super stable, so it's all rugged metal, okay? All parts that are kind of metal. It's memory foam, so it learns to sit on your head, even here. And you see that here's a little dip, so that is to not put any pressure on top of your head, because that's the most sensitive area up here. So you can wear this many hours. It has extra space for your ears inside here. So comfort is a really big topic, and it was actually, we did a research before we started designing the headphones and asked people what's the most important thing for you on a headphone, and we were surprised that, because most people said it's the comfort, and their second is the sound. We got both right.
I believe you, yeah, absolutely. And it looks like you got an award to show for it too.
Yeah, the 65 won an award last year when it was released. Yeah. And the 60 is kind of the closed back version of the 65. So it almost has the same tuning, but it's closed back, really closed back. It has a double acoustic wall here, so you won't have any bleed with that. The 55 is kind of, I would put it in an interesting headphone, because the tuning is really different to many other headphones. Some people really love it. Others don't, not so much. But what it's really good for, it's great for restoration work, which is sometimes also, I think, a case interesting for podcasters if they have to, I don't know, repair noisy stuff and crackles and all this, lip crackles, and you hear that really well on that headphone because it's so precise in the mid-range. It really shows you every mistake in the mix.
I tried it out, and it's extremely revealing. Yeah.
The 50 is kind of a version for live mixers and DJs. So it's really about mainly about the size and the form factor, because a front of house engineer does this maybe 100 times a day. So, and here he doesn't have to make this, he just struts, and then he can do this, right? Or it's lying on the console somewhere and you just grab it and put it here, and no matter how you get to your ear, it will always be nice.
Well, that makes sense. I didn't quite understand an on-ear design, but that now you see the context of why it makes sense.
For this use case, yes, and it's also interesting for us because many people think over-ear headphones are better than on-ear headphones. That's actually not the case.
It's just a fit or it's a use case thing.
Yeah, I mean, comfort, wearing comfort is another story, right? Because they sit directly on the ears. But as an example, for people who are wearing glasses, an on-ear headphone is acoustically even better because the glasses don't break the room that that is built by with an over-ear headphone. It plays directly into your ear. So acoustically, it even has some advantages. Okay, here we have a more affordable range, starting with the iX25, which is kind of a hybrid headphone. That's what we call it. That means it has many ways to use it. You can either use it with an analog cable, you won't need battery load, and you will not have to deal with any kind of latency. So if you play music with it, take the analog version, or do it the analog way. If you're on the train, you have your laptop with you, but no audio interface, no problem, take the USB-C mode. So there's a cable inside, USB-C to USB-C, and the audio interface is in the headphone, so you can connect directly to your laptop. Or you use Bluetooth if you're, I don't know, cycling or in the gym or on the subway, whatever. So you can always listen to your music and to your work on the same headphone. That was the idea behind it. It doesn't make sense to listen private, the normal music you're listening to on another headphone as you're working on. The 15 is the analog version of the 25 only. So I always call it our workhorse. That's really, it's affordable, it's still really great for the price. It has memory foam, it's foldable, the cable is detachable. So that's all features that you won't find in this price range in combination. It has a metal band, okay? It's maybe not that robust like the Pro version here, but still it's very, very solid, okay?
What is the price point on that one?
We started with them with $99, but because of price increases in material and logistics, and so I think it's, let me see, 119 it's now.
It's not bad. I mean, it's a sweet spot where a lot of people will not flinch. It competes very well, and I can attest. I'm using them right now, and I really do find them incredibly comfortable.
Yeah.
The seal is very good, and they just have a pleasing sound to me.
Yeah, great. Good to hear that.
And you got some gamer stuff? Maybe a little more gaming?
PG16, PB17, by the way, also 55 and 15. They are acoustically all the same. So here we just have a boom mic on it. It sounds pretty nice, I have to say. It has a mute function, so if you put it up, you're on mute. It's a great headphone, headset for business and business. We made it a little bit more, not so poppy. Use and get.
That's more flashy, and this one's a little bit more professional.
Slightly different. So on the PG16, We have a split cable because many people have old sound cards that have an in and output, a separate one. And here we have a converter to USB-A because people will use it on the laptop and in the office. Yeah.
Excellent.
It's also, the cool thing about it, many headsets just sound shitty, sorry. But here you have a headphone where you also can listen to very nice to music and this kind of stuff.
How does the microphone sound?
It's surprisingly good. It's not really some super kinds of special invention.
You wouldn't record necessarily, but fidelity is good.
Yeah, it has a nice bottom, and that's what I like because your voice sounds strong.
It still sounds full. It's not a thin. A lot of them are thin. It's not thin.
Exactly.
Well, I really appreciate your time, Kurt. Thank you for showing us the line, and I hope you have a great show.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We do have. Yeah. It's amazing.